Hi there YouTubers, just a little deck profile from Titan here, from Titanic Duels. Some of you have asked for one of these, but I thought I'd show you the deck I'm running this format, which will change as soon as I get my Infinity stuff. This is sort of macro Monarch, but it's not too heavy on the Monarch, it's more focused on card drawing and bringing back monsters. So, the deck we have 1, 2, 3 DD survivors. Obviously all macros need this card because it's an 1800 stalwart attacker, dark, which is always handy in this format, and simply because it comes back from macro and D fissure. 3 copies of DD Scout Plane. Now most people only run 2 of these because they don't like the fact that it comes back in attack mode, which is kind of a downside, but if you play properly it can become tribute fodder for later. 3 copies of DD Warrior Lady. As soon as this card went to 3, it was pretty obvious that we were going to put in 3 in the deck. It's easily one of the best removal cards for DD, simply because it's got a decent attack and it can kill pretty much anything it wants. Same goes to this guy, DD Assailant. He does the same thing, but he's slightly stronger. Granted, you can't activate this effect whenever you want, you are hindered, but he is slightly stronger, as pointed out, and his defences is the same. Then, 2 copies of Riser, so this is great for stacking monsters on top of the opponent's deck, also for throwing away those pesky 2000 defenders that your survivors can't get round. Now, I only run 2 of these because I don't run 3, because I run, obviously, 2 copies of Caius, especially with the amount of dark people are playing. 2 Caius is essentially a 3000 point rip into their life, which is handy. 2 copies of Cyber Valley. This is just in there for the scout planes, really, in there, or ending the battle phase. Play this along with the scout plane, rule them both to draw twice. And during the end phase, obviously, the scout plane comes back. This is probably better used for the survivor though, because the survivor can come back with 18 attack. 1 Morphing Jar. I like to run Morphing Jar in the majority of my decks, but in this deck it is a lot better, obviously, because it can get rid of those scout planes, which is what you need. 1 copy of Gald Whirlwind, just because Gald can take down anything 2600 or less, and it's a good handy level 3 tuner, so it's always good for getting out those level 7s that you need, like Black Rose Dragon for blowing the field completely. 1 copy of Mole. People slam me for running Mole, but I like it for hitting around things that Survivor can't hit around, and I don't want to waste a DD Warrior Lady on. And Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Kaiku's in there simply for late game. If my opponent has things in his grave I don't want him to have in his grave. It also stops my opponent from removing stuff from the grave, so it stops Chaos Sorcerer, etc, etc. Crap like that. On to spells. 3 copies of Dimensional Fissure. I run 3 because I really want to guarantee that I get one of these in my opening hand. Either this or Macrocosmos. Because if you don't get it early enough, this deck can fizzle out and fail. 1 copy of Brain Control. Every deck should run Brain Control, especially with the amount of synchro that's in this deck. DDR Reincarnation. This is really handy, especially when you get bottomless on a Monarch, or if you Starlight Road into something and get judged. This is a really good way, especially when macros on the field gets removed from play, you always bring it back. 1 Enemy Controller. Taking control of your opponent's, or any of your opponent's monsters at the cost of one of your scout planes is brilliant. All switches to defense. It's a double-edged sword, this card, really. MST, pretty obvious. Allure of Darkness, again, pretty obvious. Mind Control. I use Mind Control to steal my opponent's monsters, to remove them with Cyber Valley. And 1 Reinforcement of the Army, just to get out whatever one of my warriors, be it DD Warrior Lady, DD Survivor or DD Assailant, I need. On to traps. 3 copies of Macrocosmos. People have said run 2, but as I pointed out earlier, I want 6 copies of removal from play, because I want it in my opening hand. This card is brilliant because not only removes monsters, but also removes spells and traps, if your opponent has any way of bringing them back, because Mask of Darkness has been seen play to get Solemn back. 2 bottomless trap holes, this is kind of obvious because everybody needs bottomless trap hole. 2 copies of Starlight Road. Starlight Road is now a stable. It is a stable simply because you can activate it and your opponent can force it to activate. Torrential Tribute, always handy. Got to have a torrential in every deck, I suppose. And the last card is Return from the Dimension. This is obviously the kill switch. It can win you the duel, or it can put you into a position where you're not going to lose the duel by bringing back a lot of defence position monsters. So that's the deck. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll be uploading a few more deck profiles, the more decks I make, and hope to hear from you all soon. So thanks.